Everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Stroke. I'm so glad that you're here. I am your host, Jerry Wald, and a stroke survivor as well. For those of you that are new here, why I started doing the show is to bring awareness to stroke, TBI, aphasia, really brain injury, um, and also to provide a platform to all survivors that they can share their journeys on and bring on experts in brain health so they can share their knowledge with us. Um, so hopefully that kind of helped why I'm doing this. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. My guest this morning is stroke survivor Jerry Hall Jr. And Jerry will share his journey, and we'll see how that what you all can get out of it because we want to inspire everybody. So please ask questions, get involved, and share this content because you don't know who can use this and help them out as well. And also, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. And let's talk stroke on YouTube. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey, good morning. And real quick here, Victoria, thank you so much. I do see you that you from Restream, so thank you so much for checking on it. And I guess it works. So thank you once again, and have a great day, Victoria. Thank you. Um, let's see here. So I need to move you out here. So anyway, let's go ahead and bring on Jerry so we can chit chat with him. There you are.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Absolutely. You can see everybody.
Yeah, yeah, I see. Yeah, just about.
Good. Yeah. There's uh Michelle. Nice to see you, Mike. Those maybe you passed the test, Victoria. Yeah, Victoria is from the platform that I use, and she went on my personal page. And thank you so much, Victoria, for getting this all um, taken care of. So anyway, thank you so much for being here, Jerry. I appreciate it so much.
Pleasure's mine.
Yeah, no, this is great. So, oh, I'm just looking at all these comments here. So anyway, when we let's just rewind the clock, and we'll start by that. Who was Jerry Hall Jr. before your stroke?
No problem. Before this stroke, I was working for a company as a technician, test technician. I tested a lot of boards that go into your telephones,
Wow.
and I just worked all the time. Just work, 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 work.
Right.
So, yeah, that overwhelmed me a lot. So, which I believe caused too much stroke.
So
It's
that
like
was
I didn't take time to enjoy the little things.
really that's you don't realize it, or you think you took it for granted, maybe, or
I took it for granted.
wow, wow, absolutely incredible. Because we talked about it so much. So what happened? I mean, you're working hard. You think stress called it or caused it?
Well, also I had some bad eating habits, had high blood pressure, so that's part of it. And
Wow.
it, as I told you, I was on a business meeting in a hotel, and I tried to get up, and I couldn't get up from the bed, so I fell. And luckily, my wife had some experience, some medical experience. She's a pediatric nurse, so
Wow.
I called her. I was able to crawl to the nightstand where my cell phone was. I told her what was going on. She's like, "Hey, you're having a stroke." So while I was on the phone, she said, call 911." She listened to me while I was talking to her. So then the
Wow.
fire truck paramedics came and now I diagnosed with a stroke. So I went immediately to the airport. I mean, I'm sorry, not airport, but hospital. So while I got there, I was in Louisiana and I'm in the Dallas, Texas area. So she had to drive from there. That's about a 2-hour drive. But
Right.
now on the way, she had to make what I call an executive decision. It's like
Yeah.
perform the operation, and he might become a vegetable. Don't do the operation, and he might die. So she
Right.
had to, okay, which one do I do here? Save him, do the operation, and he becomes a vegetable, or not do the operation, and he dies. So she's like, plus she promised my family, whatever happens to him, I'll take care of
Wow. Wow.
it. So on the spot, she had to make that decision.
Yeah. Just like you said, it's a executive decision.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that's a tough decision. I mean, put that pressure on her.
Yeah, but I'm thankful that she decided to, hey, she took a chance by having the operation. I could have become a vegetable, but
Oh
I
yeah.
wasn't. All praise to the Most High for me not being a vegetable.
Right. Right. Exactly. That's just amazing. Let's see. You guys that are up here,
I'm trying to
ask
see
questions.
them.
Yeah, ask
I can
questions.
barely, I can barely see them.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Let's see. I think we all took someone else here. Um, Donna. She says, I think we all took life for granted, but we all
We,
survived,
we
and that
did.
is the start of a new you. And Michelle
Yes,
says,
it
you're
is.
blessed.
Yes, blessed as I am blessed to be here. I think we all are.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about um, it's a humbling experience.
Very humbling. There's no small things you take for granted. You're like, wow. And when it's
Yeah,
taken from you, it's like you can't believe it. So I mean, I'm not sure how your stroke was, but mine happened on the right side. So then my left is what was affected. So
right,
you'd be surprised that the dominant side, it really depends on the less dominant. You need that less. You need, like me, I'm right hand dominant. So I didn't realize how much I need my left leg.
yeah,
So without that, me not I was not able to utilize it. So I had to learn how to walk because of that.
right,
But
right.
not like, wow, you need your left leg to bear weight on. So I'm sure you can relate to that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. How long were you in the hospital?
I was in the hospital from June to August.
Wow, that's
Yes,
yeah, that's quite the journey there.
it was.
Exactly. You know, this is great that you guys put where you're from, and then we could Jerry will
On
know
my
where.
on my end is very, very small.
Right,
So
because you're
I'm
on a
trying
cell
to,
phone, so
yeah, what's up?
I hate to interrupt. Yep, but Don's saying God's watching over you, Catherine. Nice to see you. Good morning, everyone, and both of Jerry's. Yeah, that's
Yeah, we laugh about that often.
right. Yeah, exactly. So so what else happened? You were 3, 4 months in the hospital.
Yes, yes.
You obviously went to speech therapy. Could you talk when you had yours?
No, not. I mean, I could talk, but stuttering. But so I had to learn how to really open my mouth and get the words out.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, exactly. And all the therapy you went through, OT, PT.
all of, yeah.
Wow.
So I went to a lot of therapy, as you just said. I mean, occupational therapy, physical therapy. You think of it, therapy.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree. Just like you said earlier, I hate to say it, but it's true. Did we take it for granted?
Most definitely.
Yeah, all those little things. And did you know what a stroke was?
No, the thing about it is kind of a stereotype. When someone says stroke, you think it's just something old people have. I mean,
Yeah,
I was only 37 when I had mine.
yeah, exactly. And you think you're the youngest one out there that had a stroke? Are you the only one that had a stroke?
Well, at first I thought like, wow, I was 37. I must be a young one. Then I hear stories of people in their teens
Yeah,
having strokes, early 20s, and it's like, wow.
yeah, it can happen
But
to
now
anyone.
the most common thing is you don't look like you had a stroke. I'm like, what does it look like? What does that mean?
Right. exactly. I'm sure everybody else is have heard that too. You don't look like you had a stroke, so you're supposed to have this kind of sign on you, or um,
You know, I thought about that for a moment, but think about it when you immediately hear stroke, you have a stereotype image in your head.
right,
So when you hear stroke, you're like, oh, that must be some old guy, old person. And sometimes you think back, there were some instances where a person that had a stroke that sometimes had a deformality in their face.
right,
But we're blessed to where we don't have that.
right, right. Just like um, Donna says, um, invisible illness.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's amazing that your wife was, or she still is, a pediatric nurse.
Yeah, she changed her career over to working at an insurance company now.
Right, right,
But she had the experience from being a pediatric nurse earlier that she was able to help me, hey, tell me what was going on. Because
right.
with that, I wouldn't have known.
And you're really fortunate that you could, because we talked. You said you had a. The only reason you woke up or something is, yeah. There is Mike Peter. Oh no, to Jerry is uh
Yes, to give a brief recap, uh, to recap my what happened
yeah,
is like I said, I was on a business trip and I landed on the bed watching TV. And I fell asleep, then all of a sudden I felt the remote under my back. I'm like, I need to move that. So that's what woke me up,
wow,
feeling the remote. You know, God uses little things to help you.
yeah,
So when I tried to get out the bed, I fell. I'm like, hey, what's going on here?
right. What'd you think then?
I didn't. I was like, that's when I shouted out to God and said, God help me. So then I crawled over to the nightstand that's by the bed,
Right,
got my cell phone, called my wife, explained what was going on. She's like, hey, you're having a stroke. Call 911. So she stayed on the phone with me until I called. So the
wow.
paramedics came in, and then I went to the hospital.
But
So,
you, yeah,
I mean, like I said, I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm in the Dallas, Texas area, and I was in Shreveport, Louisiana at the time. That's a 2-hour drive. So then my wife gets in the car and comes straight to me.
wow, wow. I mean, little things. When you
Exactly.
call 911 or whatever, you couldn't move.
No, I couldn't move. So when they came in, I'm sitting on the floor. Do you remember the old commercials in the 80s? I've fallen and I can't get up. Remember those? So
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm on the phone like, hey, I'm in room such and such, such. I've fallen and I can't get up. So they so they came and they got me out and took me on to the local hospital, the nearest hospital.
Right.
Now on the way to the hospital, my wife had to make an executive decision. Do an operation or don't do an operation. Well, she do the operation is so intense that hey, he could become a vegetable. Okay, don't do the operation, he dies. So she's
Oh
like,
my God.
okay, which one should okay. So she said, hey, do the operation. And thanks be to God, I came out all right.
But what I was saying is that you did. Who opened the door?
Oh, well, paramedics came in. Now that's the problem. So I mean everybody locks their door when there's in a hotel room. So
Sure.
they had to break that lock.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. They didn't go to the front desk and say, "Hey, someone's," you know.
Well, see, that's what I did is I called down to the front desk to tell them. So they're the ones that called 911.
Wow.
So my wife stayed on the cell phone while, hey, I want to make sure they do what they're supposed to do.
Right. Right.
So of course I put them on intercom while I'm calling, so she can hear what's going on.
Wow. Smart.
Yeah.
You got a smart wife.
Oh, very, very smart.
Yeah. Exactly. Wow. So when you went to the hospital, um, did you know what was going on? I mean, or that was when you were out.
I had no clue what was going on. Well, I knew I was going to the hospital, but now when I got there, I don't remember getting there.
Wow.
I I just know I woke up in a room. But then
Wow.
they were telling me We got to prep you for surgery. Now, the funny thing is, they had my cell phone on the desk, like, on the desk in the office, so I could hear my phone going off. I'm like, hey, you might want to answer that.
And that was your wife, or just who knows?
I I don't know, but it's just I could hear it going off. I could hear my ringtone. So then now the funny thing about it is they brought the phone to me and I was trying to figure out what to do. It's like
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out because with the stroke happened on my right side, but then all I'm doing, I'm just operating on the left side, so I'm not able to figure out what's happening here.
Right, right. But they didn't make the decision, did they?
No, no, no. They
The doctors are.
no, they waited. I think what happened is one of the main doctors that specializes in stroke patients, and so he came to he had to come to the hospital, but on the way, I think is on the way there, he had, like I said, my wife had to make the decision. Hey, should we do it or risk it or not do it? So she had to make that decision.
I mean,
So they waited on her, and she finally got there. And told him what to do.
that had to be tough on her. I mean, to make those decisions,
Yes,
you being a vegetable, or I mean,
yes,
who
or
knows?
passing, yeah. That's why I tell people when you get married to someone, you gotta make sure you have a bond, a close bond.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Um, Mike is asking, did they give you meds immediately?
Uh, Immediately, yes, from what I remember.
Right.
Yeah, because now what happened is I went into a coma. I forgot for how long. I think it was an induced coma because
Right.
I was in bad shape. So they had to immediately operate. Where they had to, I forgot what it's called. They had to go in and the vein bursted. It's called
Yeah.
AVM, aneurysm, brain aneurysm. So they
Right.
had to go inside and seal that vein to stop it.
Wow.
So of course I'm out of it now.
Yeah. What do you know?
Yeah, and next thing I know, I wake up and I'm in a room.
Right. Right.
I see my wife called my parents. I'm originally from Tennessee, so they flew from Tennessee to Texas to say, "Hey, what's going on with him?" So all I know is I was in a operating prep room. So then when I come to, I see my parents and my wife. I have no idea what happened. I think I was in a coma for a while, maybe a week or so.
Right.
So all
Right.
that time is went by, and then when I come to, that family told me what happened. I'm thinking, really, a stroke? I
Unbelievable.
mean, I'm out of it. I have no idea where I'm at, what's going on.
Right.
So
Right. So you have a great support system. Now you have a
yes,
daughter.
yes, I have a daughter. I have a 20. She's 25, going on 26, and I also have two grandchildren.
Right. Wow. So what did your daughter think?
Well, um, at the time, she wasn't aware what was going on.
Wow.
So exactly,
It's scary for kids, and now you have two or three grandkids.
two grandchildren.
Mike says you should never do anything to upset your wife. She is your guardian angel. Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. And Catherine's asking, did you get the TPA? You know,
Um,
you need to, or apparently within the 3 hour time frame, so you're not, so it lessens the blow of a stroke. Like, how's your mobility now?
well, mobility is good, but like I said, I had a lot of professional therapy and then home therapy. My wife was like a drill sergeant. Hey, she put me through a lot of tough love. So
Right.
thanks be to God for that. I was
Yeah.
given a mate who knew what to do.
Right. Wow. So, one of the things too, I think back of myself, when you had your stroke, did they make you go to a stroke support group in the hospital?
Um, yes, yes, they did.
What'd you think of that at the beginning?
At the moment, I'm like, what is going on here? Why am I with these people? Then
Right.
once it was explained to me, I'm sorry, but once it was explained to me, I'm still out of it. A stroke? What's a stroke? That's what
Right.
I've just had.
Yeah.
Again, as I mentioned, when you say stroke, you think of somebody in their like 90s or so.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I'm thinking I had a stroke. That's what happened to me. But then once they broke it down, like, wow, I survived that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So now, do you currently go to any stroke support groups? I know that this pandemic has been a kind of a mess.
Well, no, to rewind a little bit, I guess I should tell people I had my stroke in 2010.
Right.
Even 12 years later, I'm still working. You never stop therapy. You always look to strive to improve.
Right. Good for you. That's amazing. So you're still doing home therapy now.
Yes, like I said, I have a wife that's a drill sergeant. She likes, okay, do this, do that, do whatever.
Right. So how is your? Because I know um, um, Mike usually asks, but I will say it anyway. But how is your? If you remember your mental health back then and now?
Well, short-term memory was affected,
Yeah.
but now the odd thing about that is long-term memories are great. So then my wife tells me you didn't have good short-term memory before this. So,
Oh,
but it has been affected.
right. Right. Wow.
The simple thing, you put something somewhere, like, what did I put there?
Yeah. That's frustrating. I know that feeling.
Most of the time, I'm looking for my phone or the remote. Yeah.
Well, so what is your daily schedule like now?
Now, I clean up a little bit, just different things around the house to keep me going.
Yeah.
So that, like my wife, sometimes she works at home because of the pandemic, but now that it's eased up a little bit, then she goes into the office.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
she had me doing little chores around the home, clean
Oh,
up, laundry, a little clean up here, a little clean up there.
yeah. Yeah.
And plus, I read a lot.
Oh, do you? So
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that. So you, because that's an effect a lot of people have is when you have the have aphasia, it affects your reading and writing and all that.
exactly. And I find ways to build my vocabulary. You're right, like you said, aphasia. So then you got to hunt for words, which you normally would have them. So there's like a little pause.
Absolutely. Um, Mike. And so many comments here. It's because she loves you, the drill sergeant, and the other one, Don saying selective hearing is what I call it. And then Mike is asking, you should get my book. You know, I don't know if I see it behind me, but I have Mike Dose Megan's book. I don't give her. I've seen it. It's a great book, Mike. Yeah, it's on Amazon. Thought I'd throw that out there, Mike. But um, so Donna watches a lot of game shows that help her. Hmm.
Huh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. That, we get one person, one thing that can help you. There you go. You
Hey,
know,
thanks for that tip. I'm gonna start watching. I'm gonna start doing that.
yeah,
That'll most definitely build up my vocabulary. I will do that.
yeah. That's true.
Thanks
So
for that tip.
yeah, thank you. That's a good one there. Yeah, the reading is a tough word game she does. Okay.
Yeah, and crossword puzzles.
Yeah.
Th- those help.
Yeah. So you do those?
Yes.
Wow.
When I first came out the hospital, I had to do simple things like child things, um, jigsaw puzzles, and coloring. The
Yeah.
coloring to get my mind right. Yeah, and like, as we talked before, this stroke was a humbling experience.
Yeah. Absolutely. It. Yeah. Catherine. Yes, I'm my own drill sergeant. Yeah.
You have to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we were talking. You could probably get into that. Is complacency.
Yes, we've have the habit of falling into it. Now, can I say something?
Absolutely.
I'm sure a lot of people fall into this category of the beginning of of recovery, you get depressed. I mean, I got depressed. You get
Sure.
down on yourself. So my my advice is, yeah, let it out. Cry. Go into an area by yourself. Let that cry, but don't dwell there. Just let it at that one good time. You won't have to do it. I did.
Yeah.
Because as long as you're holding in, it's going to get worse. You know, because people will say, "Hey, why are you down so much?" I really advise anyone who's going through this at the beginning of your stroke, go somewhere, cry, pray, and let it out, and don't dwell. Don't look back. Don't dwell on it.
Right. Absolutely. It's true. Do you have any? They call it PVA, where sometimes. Good morning, Cheryl. Do you have any? What's it called? Where you maybe you'll start crying over nothing, um,
Yeah,
or
yes,
laugh. You know.
yeah, it really is affecting my moods. So yeah, I start just laughing. I cry sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm very emotional. I can look at a movie and get just emotional, and I'm thinking to myself, I wasn't like this before. But then I did research and noticed that hey, that affects that part of your mind. So you're very sensitive.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, very
Exactly.
sensitive. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Completely. I understand the because we talk about complacency. It's easy to get in a rut and just I'm just going to do nothing. But if you keep doing nothing,
But you
nothing.
know, that's the worst thing you can do is because you got to imagine you've had a stroke, your mind is your brain is rebuilding itself. But it's also good for you to get rest because if you overwork your brain, you got to rest it. Your brain's like a muscle. You can use it, and you got to relax sometimes.
Right.
So,
Right.
so I guess what I'm trying to say is good for you to get adequate sleep. People say, "Oh, you lazy." No, no, I need this.
Yeah. Neuro fatigue is just it's brutal. Um, Nancy, she's saying I do that all the time. Yeah. That we were just talking about. And Mike's also saying make a 5-minute appointment to let out the depression, then move on to something else positive.
That's good
I
advice.
like
That is
that.
true. Yeah, let it out and do something positive.
Good suggestion, Mike. It's good.
That's a good
Um,
one. Yeah, I'm sure
yeah,
somebody needs to hear that. Yeah, that's a good
yeah,
one.
absolutely. Wow. So, what else is really that we really didn't talk about with your stroke? Because stroke is not for the weak. We know that. Um,
No, you have to be really, really strong-minded to deal with it. But one thing I would like to say is when you're when you come to in the hospital and you realize what's happened to you, I mean, it's okay to become into depression. And I'm not saying it's okay, but it's normal. Let it out.
right.
Because I mean, one moment you're independent, next thing you know, you're dependent. I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yeah.
And everybody out there could probably relate to it.
Oh yeah.
And that can drive you crazy. I mean, mentally, you got to be mentally strong.
Oh yeah. It's
And one thing that I would say that I learned is don't ask the question, why me? Ask why not me?
yeah. Yeah. Because Serena's here saying grieve, for your old self.
Yeah, grieve come for your old self, but don't dwell there. You
Yeah.
got to go forward.
Yeah. Absolutely. So true. And Serena, thanks for being here. Um, yeah. So that's a big thing. A lot of people fight with is why me?
Yeah, why not me?
Yeah.
And the word can't does not exist. You can't say can't. You say I have a challenge doing something.
Right.
You never say I can't do it. Just say I'm not able to do it right now. That's a better way of looking. That's a positive way of looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Change your
Your
words around.
vocabulary, you have to train your vocabulary and your mental state.
Yeah. Exactly. So true. Uh, and then I told you sometimes I could be getting ready to say something and it just goes away. Eh, Yvonne,
Breathe, exactly. Breathe and say, and then get to it.
yeah,
But one thing, one of my therapists told me, it's like you go back. If anyone knowing the history of internet, it's like you're going from you're going back to DSL. You know how DSL was? Am I saying it right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The connectivity was terrible. But now we have the internet sources we have now. It's very fast to what we had back in the 90s. So like that's one way of looking at it. So we got wireless now. So if anybody remember, is it DSL? Am I saying it
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you know it's wired, so it
The
took forever.
dial-up.
It took forever. But see,
Yeah.
what my doctor was telling me, you went from wireless back to DSL, so it's going to take a while for you to remember it. It's there. It's just going to take a second for you to bring it back.
Great analogy.
But don't get frustrated. But just breathe and start up. The people should understand where you're coming from. So hey.
Yeah.
But at first, I'm like, how come I can't recall this word?
Absolutely. It's tough. And I like Mike, you saying, don't be afraid to try and fail. Your abilities will eventually come back.
Exactly. Good point. That's a good point.
Mike, boy, he's really chalking up the kudos there.
He is.
Yeah,
You're helping somebody there, Mike. Keep bringing them.
yeah, exactly. Donna, do things you used to know easy are hard now. Just be patient with yourself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that is true. As I talked to you earlier, we talked before. Just like yourself, me and you, we neither one. We couldn't walk. So
Right,
at night we had to depend on our mates. Like for myself, if I had to urinate, I had to ask him for a urinal.
right.
So
Yeah,
then I finally got to where I was able to walk. So I get up and I'm able to walk to the restroom. I think to myself, thank you, Lord, for being able to do this. Something
yeah,
simple.
right. Exactly. You know, it's so true. You know, the urinal, the little we talked about being humble. The I hate
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole
Now,
the
this stroke
right.
humbled me. Yeah, it
Oh,
humbled me.
yeah,
All the stuff I took for granted is like, you're knocked down.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that thing you brought it up. I can't believe it. The urinal in bed. I can't get up and go. So I mean, oh my
Yes, and
god.
then now my wife, I have to wake her up, who's got to go to work, gets her rest. So then she gets up, she gets it, and then yeah, you're right. In bed, you gotta do it right there. You can't
Oh
sit up.
yeah,
So finally, I get to the point through therapy, I'm able to walk. So I'm like, finally, it was like a big milestone for me to be able to get up at night and walk to the restroom.
right.
So
I
I'm
mean,
like,
that's
even when I do it now, I mean, years after the stroke happened to me, I'm like, thank you. I make it to the restroom, and I thank God for me being able to do something this simple.
right. I know. And now, well, that was 10, 11, coming up on 12 years, June
12
15th.
years. Yes.
Wow.
I
Yeah,
think yours is about the same amount of time, isn't it?
yeah. I think I'm
12,
4 months.
4 months. Okay.
You're 4 months earlier than me.
Because mine is coming up June 15th,
Yeah, mine's
12
October.
years. Wow.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Salute. I see that. Yeah. She always says her husband, Tom, always thought he could walk. You know, I, yeah. I mean, like you thought you could walk with the thing under your, the remote under your, the back of you.
It's
And
under my back. Yeah. And then when I figured, so I didn't know what was going on with me. So I went to take that step to get out the bed, and boom, I knew something was wrong there.
wow. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. Yeah. We're all pros now. Old pros now, as Mike saying.
Wow, that's right.
Yeah. You know, honestly, portable potty chairs help if your bathroom is a long way away. But you know, I don't know how long yours was
Luckily,
away.
the our bathroom was in our room, so it wasn't that far.
Right. But those
But
little,
still, it was far enough to, even though I couldn't walk.
right,
So
cause you to fall. Wow. Absolutely incredible what you've gone through. And now look at you. You are blessed.
very much not. I mean, it was small things. I had to relearn how to dress myself.
Yeah. it's so funny that you're right. I mean, just buttoning your pants. I mean, all those little things you take for granted. All those
You got
little
to
things.
relearn. Yeah, you're right. You have to relearn how to button your pants because you're doing it with one hand.
Right. And like button this thing. I'm getting really a
Oh,
pro with one
sure,
hand
yeah,
because
yeah.
I can't with that. I mean, let's let's see.
Luckily, I got small hands, so I'm I'm able to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Heather, let's see. Nice to see you, Heather. I haven't reached that milestone, being able to up a night, go to the bathroom, but I can walk. I just have to wear an AFO, so I can't walk without it. I totally understand. So my husband gets up and tolls me to the bathroom uh, in a rolling shower chair. Hey,
That's great. Uh,
y-
I'm glad you have a husband that's understanding and willing to help you.
yeah,
That's great to hear.
exactly. I mean,
All praise to God that you have that mate.
yeah, it's probably salute, get gratitude. But you're right. It's all those little things. I mean, you just brought it up. I mean, I think of it that my gosh, my wife threw it out now. The dumb little well at the time it's like our go to the urinal.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now when I get up to go to the restroom, I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. It's, I mean, there's always something to that urinal. And okay, you gotta wash your sheets again. I mean, but that's
Yeah, you're right.
true.
Yeah, you got to relearn how to shave again.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. And if you're shaking, at first I had to use an electric one, and they don't work really good for me. Now I had to learn to do it with my opposite hand. All those little things, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely, just crazy stuff. Um, but I'm so glad you sound like you're really gung ho, so working to, you
You
know,
have to be. You have to strive to get better every day.
yeah. And
This is what I try to. That's what I try to do.
yeah, do you thank God for my husband. He's the best man in the universe. That's awesome, Heather.
That's awesome. Glad you got a good mate. That's good to hear.
Yeah, that's and that's people just give up a lot. We talked about that the spouse.
Yeah. Luckily, mine didn't give up. We kept on going. As I told you earlier, when you pick someone, you got to build a bond with them. That way, you make it through and through.
Yeah, exactly. You have to. Nancy, a couple more comments here. Nancy, shaving my legs is very challenging. I couldn't imagine my legs would be all beat up like that. And then Donna saying, do you get, and this is, we talked about this um, this week. Do you get looks when you have a parking pass, right? Or on your license plate, a placard or something
Yeah,
for
placard. We
handicap?
had the placard. Yeah.
Do people? She says, do you get looks when you use your parking pass?
No, I don't get looks in. I don't.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I mean, I'm probably sure someone's thinking in the back of their mind. But when I get it, and I see my cane, and I don't get any. You know, it made me appreciate the handicap spots. Because I remember in my young days, I would let me take this real quick. But now I understand.
yeah, exactly. Do you prepare yourself when you're going out? Like, okay, we're going to where we're going. We're going to just to the store, or we're going to somebody's house. Do you think, okay, I've got to make sure that now I got to walk. Do they have stairs? All those little things.
Yes,
Does that
yes,
happen?
I do that. Yes,
Yeah, that's a big deal. I
I'm
mean,
always thinking ahead. Hey, this is what I need to do. This step, that step, and whatnot. Yeah, I plan everything.
yeah, I know. Exactly. That's a big deal. So Mike's
Yes.
also saying, I didn't shave for 2 weeks, but the beard was a pain in the ass. So I figured out how to do it. The nurses didn't recognize me.
I can somewhat relate to that. I didn't go weeks, but I sat there and I figured, I was like, I'm gonna figure this out.
Yeah. Are you on meds?
Yes, I have meds for blood pressure, and also at the beginning of my stroke, I was having seizures.
Yeah.
So I have anti-seizure medicines also.
Keppra.
I
Yeah.
started out with that, but
You
now
did.
I take a Lamictal XR.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I mean, just to remind yourself. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
so tired of these meds, but what are you going to do?
you need them.
Yeah. Yeah. You do. Um, okay. So Donna's saying, luckily, people get rude and nasty. She's experienced that with the placards, with the handicap. So we park usually, not all the time. If she bars with me, we can park away, a little more away so I can get some exercise because I don't do as much as I should.
Mhm. But I never did encounter anyone getting rude and nasty with me. So like
Good.
once I get out, they're like, okay,
Something's up with this guy.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So, and you don't wear an AFO.
No, it becomes uncomfortable. But I had good therapists that was able to work with me, so I really didn't need it.
Right. Right.
Let's
Uh,
see.
There's a long one there, Heather. Ooh, you need to wear dog. Okay. So Donna, I know she does wear. Um, she says you need to wear dog tags with medical information on it. In this case, yeah, I know a lot. Yes,
Yes, that is true.
yeah. I don't wear it, but that's a great idea.
It is, but my wife thought about doing it. We didn't. So yeah, there's also a little bracelet you can wear.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Yvonne, Yvonne from Athens, Greece. She says meds, the breakfast of broken people.
I like that. I
Yeah,
like the acronym.
yeah. I know. Thanks for making these comments, you guys. Salute. Tom's acute rehab took him off as much of his meds as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mike, I have a doggone wheelchair on my license plate. Huh. Yeah, I can't remember what mine is, um, wow. So what? Let's think. Is there something else? I know people. If we can get one person inspired,
That's
you
all.
know.
If I can inspire one person, I'm happy.
Yeah, me too. That's what it's all about, and that's why we
Yes,
do
it
these
is.
shows. But what else did we not cover about your stroke? And I'm just trying to think because it was. I mean, we celebrated your 11th last June 15th.
Last June, yeah, the 11th.
Yeah,
But now
right.
coming up, it's going to be the 12th.
Yeah, just right around the corner. Big
Yeah.
milestone.
Big milestone, yes.
Yeah,
And I'm very blessed to even be here.
me too. I'm blessed that you're here.
Yes, I am. But you also, everyone else that's joined in, it's a big blessing that we made it. We're survivors.
Yeah,
We survived it.
exactly. So true. I'm really happy that it all worked out. Yes, Yvonne. Woohoo! Um, not broken, just cracked. Okay.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, a lot of different scenarios or so, but yeah, this is good. Danielle, nice to see you from Boston, Massachusetts. Oh, gotta move forward here. But yeah, so you really survived a good. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of, and your wife to make those decisions because you weren't
Not,
in it.
not
You
only
weren't in
that,
it.
once I was at the hospital, my wife's family converged on me. And I had a good support system. My in-laws, I had nieces, brothers-in-law that just made sure I was all right.
Yeah. So you had a big family.
Yes, yes.
Or,
I mean, like I said, I'm originally from Tennessee, so I'm a transplant here in Texas, and I moved here because my wife's family is here.
right.
As I said, after stroke, I had like a lot of people converging on me, helping me, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, nieces. It really helped me.
Yeah. Gotta love Texas.
You're here in Texas also, right?
Yeah, about 3 hours from you.
Great.
Yeah. So that's awesome here. One day at a time, breathe and live to your fullest. Oh, Mike,
Yeah.
you're from where is Tennessee? But he lives there.
Um, outside of Knoxville.
Yeah, he lives in
Uh,
Tennessee.
oh, really? From Alcoa.
Alcoa. There you go, Mike. Um, yeah, so you did. Wow, it's amazing. 37 years old, and it was caused by a brain aneurysm.
Yes.
Now you know you're not the youngest one.
Yeah, I know. As I say, you say stroke. There's somebody in their 80s and 90s. To
Yeah,
be 37 and have one, that's wow.
yeah. Mike says cool area. Okay, that's funny. Oh, father was from Decatur, Decatur.
Decatur. Okay.
That's that's what Donna's saying.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's, unbelievable. Well, gosh darn it, I had a great time with you. And anything last words you want to say?
No, just try to be better try to be better than you were the day before. Oh, can I add one thing?
You're
Never
on.
never say the word can't. Just say I'm not able to do right now. It's more of a challenge. Because you can do all things. Now, if you go into a store, you see a shelf full of cans, but you'll never see a can't up there. That basically means you can do it.
I love your analogies. Take the tea out of cans.
That's one way of looking at it. Just say,
Yeah.
hey, it's more of a challenge.
Right, right. Well,
I
that's
really
great.
hope that I've helped someone, inspired someone today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's great. So many people are continue to watch. There's a little meter here, and you can see it didn't go down very little. I mean, it was so you have definitely inspired more than one
That's what I
person,
wanted to do.
guarantee. Yeah.
Exactly.
So yes, you did. Donna says you did inspire.
Great. I'm happy to hear that. Great.
Yeah, good to hear that. So she's also saying go under it, above it, or through it. Don't let the challenge win.
I like that. That's a good mindset to have, especially through this type of recovery.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, stroke's not for the weak.
It is, you have to be mentally strong to survive this.
Yeah, that's a big thing. That mental that we have to go through. The mental.
As I told you earlier when we were talking, a lot of people say, "Why me? Why this happened to me?" So then I always say, "Why not me?"
Yeah,
There's a purpose for things happening.
yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Um, inspired, set the world on fire. Yvonne. Well, good. All right. Well, any second last words? Because
None at
I
all.
really appreciate it.
I appreciate you bringing me back on.
Not at all.
Anytime,
Well,
call me.
I will. I definitely will. I do appreciate it so much. So, God picks his strongest to challenge. Like that.
I believe that. Oh, yeah, I believe that.
That's right. Well, good. Well, you guys have a great rest of your day, and thanks for being here.
Exactly. Enjoy the
Appreciate
rest
it.
of the day. God
Yep.
bless all of you.
Thank you so much. Mike just said great job. So awesome. Thank you, Mike, for Jerry.
All right. Have a good day, friends.